all messed up. But I do want to let you guys know this is pretty alarming as far as what is going on. If you are not aware, some pretty crazy stuff came out yesterday about the Pentagon essentially talking about deploying more troops or more National Guard troops to different cities. Again, today, there was a U.S. official that confirmed Pentagon is planning National Guard deployment in Chicago and possibly even other cities. Now, again, this is something that, I've seen a lot of support for. I've seen a lot of people say, hey, we need military cleaning up our streets. We need military, fixing these problems, fixing everything that's happening. And I agree, like, our streets are horrible, but there's a lot of questions to be asked. And I really do wonder, instead of the people on the other end that are saying that this is some sort of, takeover or some sort of horrible event, what if this is actually to protect against something that is happening right now? Now, I go back to what I've been covering over the last 4 years, and especially the people that have come into our country. Where did those people go? Where did the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people go from all of the countries that hate us most? They went into these cities, including my own. I mean, if you look, people want to politicize, where these people went, but I mean, it's a sheer fact. There are cities that took them in, and they said, "Hey, you can come here." Well, I don't think it was an accident. My personal opinion is that, having planes full of, plane loads full of people come in from all of the countries that hate us is pretty crazy. It's pretty insane, to be honest. And if you look at it, what if there is a lot of information that we don't know? What if there is something that is being planned? I go back to the Sarah Adams piece where they talked about, 1,000 people. Sarah Adams, of course, was on the Sean Ryan show, both ex-spooks, so not everybody believes them. But she said through open source information, which if you actually go look at a lot of the stuff she has there, there's some pretty scary, unrefutable evidence that they are planning some sort of huge event. Now, the event she talked about was a potential event with even 1,000 coordinated people in the United States and 1,000 coordinated people in Europe. And it actually could be bigger than that. If you look at all of the videos over the last 4 years of, you've got civilians that are dressed in fatigues and have buzz cuts from different countries, especially a huge chunk from China, coming in these groups, age 18 to 25, and where did these guys end up going? Well, if they did go to the border, if they did get accosted, well, they weren't even doing background checks when they came in. They said, hey, we caught you. Now we're going to do a background check at your court date. If you don't believe me, go look at this. This is what they found out. So, and again, just the fact that some of these Chinese civilians were coming in, and it's not just China, it's many other countries, that they were going through South America and going through the Darien Gap and doing this whole trek, when most, even if they're trying to get in illegally, don't have to do that or don't do that. It's very suspicious. The fact that the entire Darien Gap all the way through seems like it had funding, it had translations, it had instructions, it had an entire setup. Every single hotel or business along the way was translated not just in English. You would think English and Spanish, but no, English and Chinese. And you really think about this and you think about who is our number one competitor. It is China. Whether you believe that they have come anywhere near us, or if you believe that they've surpassed us by now. Either way, this is our top competitor. This is somebody who is coming up on our tail end trying to take our place and trying to basically, be the United States in every which way. And I've covered so many hundreds of stories for them, taking things right out of our playbook. They are literally trying to be the peacemaker in the world, meanwhile having these covert operations going on, which in my belief, all of South Korea, the president doing martial law, saying that China had infiltrated them with sympathetic members of North Korea. All of that happened, that's a huge operation that I believe China did. And everybody just kind of, rolled it right under the rug and nobody even talks about it. Again, like things like that, that's a huge operation that China's doing right now. On top of all of the other operations that they're doing, they are doing the same thing that we, of course, know that the U.S. is doing. You've got regime changes, things like this happening. Well, China's doing that too now. And that's something that is really, really, in a lot of ways, pretty insane, considering where they were just 30 years ago. Even when they opened their doors to capitalism and they said, hey, Chinese people, you can make a living of your own. You just have to essentially tie in a chunk of this to the government. If you are a big company in China, a chunk goes to the CCP, no matter who you are. If they don't deem that you are appropriate to have $1 billion, they can just take your $1 billion. I've covered that too. There's been even celebrities that are the most popular people in the entire country. They have billions of fans, and I mean billions, and they take away their money like it's nothing. I mean, really think about that. The fact that, even if you have sway over there, even if you have a lot of people behind you, China can say, whatever, you're broke now. So, there's a lot of people that are debating about this, but when you go and look at what has happened, if you really, really have kept track in the last 5 years, you will see that this is something that looks really, really, really obvious. To me, this is something that a lot of people and a lot of detractors are going to come out and say, this is, all BS. But to me, I believe that there is an operation going on to not only infiltrate our country, but to take it down one chunk at a time, one factory at a time, one power line at a time, one infiltration at a time, one cellular radio put into transformers at a time. All of these things are happening all at once. And if you look at it as a bigger picture, it's pretty hard not to notice that all of our ports literally have their proprietary software that could shut down at any second and stop our cranes from moving containers into our country. The fact that they have huge house-sized transformers that are connecting the new renewable technology that now have been found to have had cellular technology placed inside in the middle of a building-sized transformer where, people aren't going to take that apart. I mean, have you ever taken apart an IKEA shelf to try to move? I just did. It's absolute hell. But have you tried to take apart a house transformer? I haven't, but I'm assuming that it's not something you do unless you have suspicion. And after Spain went down, and I mean all of Spain within a day or two magically said, oh yeah, how was that renewable? Who's the biggest supplier of that renewable technology? Oh yeah, China. And then within one day of that, the US comes out and says, we found a cellular radio in our transformer that basically null and voided our firewall. It was actually being able to send signals and turn off that or do something to it. So really think about that. Think about the Golden Dome. Think about the bridge system, these boats that they have created with a domino effect, or this human centipede almost type boat that can drop a 160-foot bridge onto a beach and then have a boat behind it drop a 160-foot bridge onto its back, and then a boat behind it, a 160-foot bridge on its back, and have the enter point all the way out in the ocean, and have boat one after another unloading tanks into a one road, lane right onto the beach. That's the kind of stuff you do for a beach invasion. Now everybody's saying, oh, it's Taiwan. Taiwan is, it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be a big deal for China unless we step in. And everything that, has happened, it says that this is something where it is so important to them, not for the chips, not for, the TSMC is a really big deal. It's huge. The technology, the stuff that's there, that's a huge deal for China. But you know what? It's a bigger deal is that strait, is that area, that water that they've already claimed. They've already told the world, this is ours. We own this. The Philippines is now fighting for their own waters. I mean, these are waters that they have had for forever, and that there is a certain thing that our whole planet agrees on, that hey, out this far out from a country, that's our waters. Well, they're saying screw that. We're taking those. That's why the Philippines, you've heard about this, shipwrecked boat that's sitting on an island. That's because they are literally living on it to try to stake a claim and say, hey, this is us. We live here. There are people here. This is our land. And that means that it extends out into the waters. Well, that's why they've gone after it. They've sprayed them with hoses. They've done all this stuff. They're basically doing everything they can without just totally wiping them off the planet, because they're playing the long game. China's been playing the long game for a very long time. And people say, oh, you said this 10 years ago. Well, this is a long game. This is something that is not an overnight mission. I always use as an example that weddings, take months or even years to plan. This is World War III. This is taking over the United States, one of the most powerful countries in the world. And is it possible? I don't know. But I do believe that our government, our Pentagon, the Russian government, the Chinese government have all done all of these simulations. And the only way that the U.S. is taken off this top block is if everyone teams up. What does it look like it's happening? China's working with North Korea working with Iran, China's working with Iran is working with Russia, Russia and Iran are working with Venezuela and Nicaragua and all of this crazy stuff that's going on. Cuba. And then they're buying land right next to all of the military bases. Yeah, that's not suspicious. And then pretty much all of you probably get a call almost on a weekly basis from companies that are trying to invest or buy your house. If your house is worth $1 million and maybe during a really good market it's 1.1, 1.2, they'll call you and be like, hey, can we give you $2 million for your house? And anybody else would go, haha, funny joke. They're like, no, we have $2 million cash. We'll give it to you right now. Why? Why pay $800,000 over what it's worth? That's what I don't understand. Unless you are trying to do something long-term with it. And these big companies, oh yeah, that's right, they're all connected to the CCP. Or most of them are. So yeah, there's a lot going on. I do want to give you guys a quick update. I am set up. I've got my computer, internet, everything. We should be having a normal show tomorrow. Everything should be good. We're going to do test streams early in the afternoon. I thank everybody that has been patient through all of this. It's been one hell after another. We just, again, today I had both my monitors. That was the last thing, and I did not have the cables for it. So God bless Amazon. They got it to me by 5, and we are good. So we are running right now. Just to show you real quick. Got that running, and it's not going to look exactly the same, but this is the important part. The other side of this is going to have a space for interviews, and it's actually set up in a place where we can. So that is really cool. We'll have in-person interviews, or we'll be able to. So I might be able to get Chris Goldfinger to actually come over and hang out and talk about Cascadia. I could have an author or one of you guys on the show. So again, I appreciate all of you through all of this. We've been basically without a show for almost a month. It has not been fun. So I do appreciate everybody that has given us a chance, who has sat by and stuck with us no matter what. But I'm sticking to my bang bangs, as we say on YouTube. And I really do believe that this is what is happening. We have a lot of distractions. We have a lot of crazy stuff going on, like, asteroids and things that are possibly nuclear powered and man-made. Well, I would keep focused on the fact that it will not be parachutes dropping in. It will be the guy on the next seat over to you pulling something out. And it's not going to be his junk. So it might be junk, but that's just an opinion about Chinese weapons. So you guys have a great night. Be safe, be prepared, and please make sure to go check out our website, especially go get protection by EMP Shield, marfooglenews.com/EMP if you want to protect your cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats against an EMP. That is also going to protect you against a Carrington level event. We will be on tomorrow. Again, thank you guys for your patience. Be safe, be prepared, and marf out. All links and bibliography for this and much, much more is going to be down on the description link down below. Have a good night.